Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back. We are thankful to have our guest here, Jennifer Bouchard, joining us once again. She is the owner of the Nanny Poppins Agency. That's nannypoppinsagency.com. And it's not just nannies, they are a full service agency. Excited to talk to her more about all she does in helping families, really find whatever domestic staffing they need and so on and so forth. So first and foremost, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, I'm great, Jill. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure to have you back. And you, amazing entrepreneur, started many years ago, a success story, turning in, Nanny Poppins Agency to what it is today. Tell me what it is specifically for those that may not have heard of you yet.
So we are a full service household staffing agency, better known as nanny and domestic staffing agency to some people. So we do make placements. We don't have an employment relationship. We're more of a search firm, but we have relationships with hundreds of thousands of candidates nationwide in our database. I did start the company almost 30 years ago. So because of that, we're well established in the industry. And then, actually more than well. And then, in addition to that, we start literally from in your home at newborn care specialist, all the way up to elder care, nannies, chefs, household managers, housekeepers, cooks, executive housekeepers, butlers, estate managers, barn managers, everything from your home to your home office, to your family life, to your lifestyle, whatever it is, whoever you are, whatever you need.
And by the way, you've been doing this over the years. It did start out for just nannies, right? But tell me how it's grown and, all that you're doing from personal assistants, housekeepers to managers. Tell me specifically all the fields that you're working in, or it's too many to mention at this point.
I mean, there's a lot to mention. Most of them are listed on the website, and some of the jobs are like a combination. So if there's a family or a household, it could be one person with children or not with children, but they may need someone that can be their assistant and handle their schedule and their personal travel in addition to helping them keep the house running, or if they're putting an addition on the house and they need someone to help manage the project or get them quotes and meet vendors, to someone that's just a nanny or a nanny/household manager when the kids are at school. So it's really just like finding out what the client needs and then getting the right job description, getting the right job title up, and making sure that they have realistic expectations, that they're paying market rate or higher, because it's obviously a very niche market. And then we have the resources to get the candidates, whether they're already in our extensive database or whether they're a new candidate. We do all of the pre-screening, the interviewing, the referencing, and the background checks. Although some clients do their own background checks if they're really high net worth clients and, they're concerned about their safety because they own some substantial, property and businesses and whatnot. It could be someone that we have a client right now running their own background checks. What we do is amazing, but they just have their own process. So they use us to do the search and do all the screening initially. And then the clients decide who they hire, depending on who's the right fit. And they're not obviously obligated to hire anyone that we send them. And we don't even charge a registration fee anymore because we're very confident that we're going to fill the position. So as long as the clients are working just to review the resumes and get on the phone with the candidates and meet them, there's no reason why we're not going to fill that job and solve their problem.
Got it. And who did I speak to last week? That was your
Office manager.
in Texas, right?
Yeah, she's in Houston.
Perfect. And
Oh,
yes, she
yeah.
told me how you really took her under your wing and
Oh,
all
did
you've
you? I haven't
done.
even had time to listen yet.
Oh my gosh, she was just so amazingly kind, gracious, grateful, and that you really like took her under your wing, which was just so amazing to get her into this field and to help so many people like this. And speaking of
Well,
recruiters,
and
go
sometimes
ahead.
they take me under their wing. So,
Yeah.
business owners, entrepreneurs, they're notorious for not all being like the most organized. A lot of us are more like ADD and creative. So if I didn't have the support staff that I have in the office, I don't, I say all the time, if I had to be an office manager, I'd be fired.
Oh
It's
my
a hard
goodness.
job. Like they have a lot on their plate, the financials,
Yeah.
operations, We had a phone issue this week. Just getting people back on the phone is what I'm finding to be like the biggest struggle nowadays. Like people will do an inquiry through the website that they're interested in hiring someone, and then or they'll do like, or they'll call in, and if we don't get that call, we're calling them back. Like my business coach says I have to call them back up to like 10 or 14 times, because as soon as you miss one call, you go
Yeah.
down like 50 per, if you don't call them back within an hour, you're down like 50% chance of ever getting them back on the phone. So
Mm-hmm.
we're calling people back and calling them back. It's like impossible to get people on the phone. Everyone's so busy. That's why they need help.
Oh my goodness. Well, I know. It's so crazy, especially now around the holidays, right?
Right. And like I was just thinking like working from home, like I think we did talk about another time, but like a lot of people really try to do it all. Like, okay, I'm gonna work from home. I can work from home with my job this many days or every day. And then like I have two boys that are 13 and 14, and the unexpectedly the school district, the teachers, the union did an illegal strike, which I understand why. They had their
Mhm.
reasons. Um, but now my kids have been out of school for, I don't know if they've missed like, so all week they haven't been in school. And like last week after the holiday, so the holiday was Monday, they didn't have school. It started last Tuesday. So my
Mhm.
kids have been home, and I'm looking at my calendar and I'm like, oh, I booked that thinking nobody would be in the home at this time.
Mhm.
Right. So it's like, if my kids were smaller, and up until this year, I always had someone in the house anyway helping me with household management. But even right now, like I'm trying it and I'm like thinking maybe I need to get someone like back in the house.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Um, so yeah, I mean, I think people try their hardest to manage,
absolutely. Yeah.
and then it winds up being until like everything's falling apart, like, or just nothing's getting done the way it should be 100% or even close. And then maybe they reach out, and then they don't have time to answer the phone. Because there, we got one lady actually, I feel bad. I need to actually follow up on her. She called and talked to one of the women that works with us
Okay.
as a recruiter, and her child got diagnosed with autism. And then she was too busy to hire someone.
That happens as a
Like,
mother, right? It's
and now I'm like, she's going to need more help now because she's got other children.
mm-hmm.
Like, I can relate to her with special
Yeah.
needs child. And so it's like, it just makes me want to give her a hug and be like, all right, let us help you now. Like, how do we help you now so you don't get more overwhelmed? Because she was so overwhelmed that adding on one more thing is adding more overwhelmness.
Got
So
it.
it's just sad that it gets to that point where we all wait. And I'm definitely guilty myself of just trying to help everyone else and then not making sure that I've got everything taken. It's like put your oxygen on. Okay. So it's like when you get on the plane, put your oxygen mask on first before we try to help other people. And so like we are, I guess I've never said this before, but we're their oxygen mask.
Yep. Got to put that on first, they say, right? Yeah. And a lot of
Yeah.
us as parents don't do that. We don't.
And women,
Yep.
people are like, take care of you. Well, how? Right? Well, I guess if you can afford it and you make the investment in your family and in your, then it's an investment in ourselves as well.
Yep, absolutely. And by the way, you've been doing this for quite some time, and there's newborn care specialists, there's chefs, there's personal assistants, I mean, even I know you're helping those in the trucking industry. There's a lot of people that are coming to you for clients, for candidates, and the one thing that they all have in common is, it's you. It's you, Jennifer. You own the company, and your staff are amazing. You're really good at what you do, thorough. And you're working with a lot of high profile, CEOs, sometimes celebrities, and even regular people too. And again, I just want to let everyone know this is nationwide. If you go to the website, you can see some of the listings that are available of clients. You can go there, help you, find your fit. And, around the holidays, do people want a lot of temporary type of help now?
So yeah, sometimes the temp jobs come in like, and they want like somebody for 2 weeks, like tomorrow, or they'll want somebody for 2 weeks and 4 months, or they right now is kind of a very tumultuous time, like after Thanksgiving, because more people are going to start to get serious to hire after the new year or after the beginning of the year. And so my best advice to anyone looking to hire anyone, whether it's your business or your home, even if it's 5 months from now, get that job order in to the firm of your choice, preferably Nanny Poppins, Nanny Poppins. Preferably get the job order in and just re-put the earliest start date. And that way we can start getting you candidates. So you're not like struggling during Christmas,
Yeah.
that 2 or 3 weeks where everybody's busy and traveling. And if you go on a trip in the middle of a search for a nanny or a housekeeper or an assistant, make yourself a little bit available to view resumes and hop on a 2-minute call because those candidates will get jobs.
It's very true. And the process of doing this is, could you just share how it works? Because you really do have a thorough investigative team that's working with everyone that's really hands-on.
Yeah, so like getting to know, like for me, I need to get to know the candidates professionally, academically, and personally because I need to know their lifestyle, their family life, any commitments that are not related to this position that could be an interference. Because if you can't get to work, then their lives fall apart, right? If they're missing someone. So getting to know the candidate and then also getting to know everything that they've done in each of their former employment so that we can accurately represent them and not miss any of their experience. Because like the most frustrating thing about working with some of the clients are, especially for the nanny and the housekeeper jobs, they will look at their resume like for 3 seconds and then be like, not a good fit. And meanwhile, we've put like 5 hours into that one candidate.
A lot of time, a lot of effort, right?
Right? So just be serious and be
Yeah.
if you're motivated, you'll get results.
And by the way, now, if you don't mind sharing, a lot of people, even including yourself, I know you have two children, and you also just recently, you have help with them, and recently you're going through a little bit of a crisis. You mentioned before we started the show that there's a strike going on in your town. Could you just share a
Yeah.
little bit about this, and what does that mean to parents out there who have to get their kids
So,
to school? They
so
have to
I
work.
so I just relocated back to Massachusetts, where I grew up, and I live in Marblehead, Massachusetts, and the teachers are have been on strike since last Tuesday because of pay and benefits. So I'm not like I mean, obviously I'm working, I'm not really involved in their strike, and it was definitely unexpected, but there's also like Gloucester, Massachusetts was on strike, and Beverly, I
Hmm.
think solved it in a day. So we might be getting back this week, but if not, I don't know. My kids have been home. My
Got it.
sister just graciously took them out to play football with a bunch of,
Uh-huh. Oh,
but
that's sweet.
yeah, I'm just like afraid though, because it makes me a little nervous that like my son with special needs is going to want to go back to school after being out for all this time. So yeah, it's a lot, but I have faith it's going to get resolved. They can't keep the kids out of school forever.
No, they cannot. But I wish you luck with that. But there's times like that where our people, could need services immediately. Do you have positions that can be filled immediately if someone's really in need, in a sense?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's based on availability. We're not like Build-A-Bear. We can't build the candidate.
That was a good one.
But
Uh-huh.
there are, well, people think it's like a store. I mean, my database is substantial. There's over 200,000 people in the database, but you have to make them aware of the position. But yeah, if someone needed someone right away and they were motivated, then we would probably be able to help them. But we just want to make sure that there are no mistakes made and that everyone's been appropriately screened.
Oh my goodness. And that whole screening process though, but I love how thorough you are. What else do you
Yeah,
want people to know about you
finish
and the
that.
work that you're doing? Oh, go ahead.
So we do, I forgot. So we do also call the references in-house because if we outsource the references, those companies don't ask enough questions. So we ask extensive questions. Delia, that you met last week, her mom, her name is also Delia. She checks the references. And then some of the recruiters who also manage with the clients, the account managers, they have their own assistants to help them get the references done. So we call and speak with the reference providers on the phone and document everything. And then everything that we do, the clients can verify if they choose to. And then we outsource the background checks so that we have the best available background checks to license accredited nationwide consumer reporting and background checking company. So they run misdemeanor, felony, violent and federal crimes, homeland security, sex offender database,
Wow.
and a
Hmm.
name, address and social security trace and the driving record. and then we give that to the client. So we run it on the client's behalf so that we can legally give it to them.
Yep,
So everything
absolutely.
that we know, the clients know. And
Hmm.
that's it. Clients, we're here to provide them with enough information for them to make an educated decision about who they choose to hire to work for them.
Got it. And I mean, with this expansion of you doing so many different areas, I mean, is there any more expansions in the works? I mean, you really could help so many people. I mean, you are helping, but in different businesses. And, because the name, may, and people think it's just nannies, it's just child care experts. No, it's a lot more than that.
So we do have another brand, Home and Work Staffing. We can help people in their businesses. We are, we make
Ah,
placement. Typically, the people that call us for their businesses have already used us for their household,
okay.
or it's so like, or one of the members of our team they own two oil companies. So that's how we got into like finding drivers and technicians and people for their offices. But we have clients that have asked us to place concierges in their office buildings or in their apartment buildings that they own or have partnerships in, um, and admins for their office. But we can fill anything that does not require a more specific license to fill.
Got it. All right. Well, also, in this line of work, how do you see the future? I mean, going, right? There's a lot of different companies out there. There's lots of online companies, but there's something to be said for someone who's hands-on and, owner operated.
I mean, like the online sites, I think they can be good if the person knows if the person doing the search is really aware of how to hire someone and not miss something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think the most important time to use an agency would be your first search, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but who has time though?
Yeah.
Like, I barely have to plan for this podcast we do every week. Like, who has time to go through all these people that may or may not be serious, may or may not be who they say they are on
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I mean, I guess a lot for me, it's like I'm a single mom, but I don't have time to go on the dating site and search for a date. I don't.
Nope.
I just
Nope.
don't have time.
Nope. Absolutely. That is
I
so
would hire
true.
a matchmaker, but I don't have time.
Well, I'm just thinking, hold on. You're so good at connecting people. Maybe you should start your own matchmaking company. Too much. You got a lot going on.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. It's all pretty tumultuous. We're right in their lives, huh?
I know. No, I know. I have trouble in that department myself, but I don't even have time to date, let alone, yeah, you're right. Go on an app and look for one,
I'm with you.
someone.
Like I'm totally with you. Like no time.
Oh, my dreams. One day I'll find that Prince Charming that I never found. But at
Okay.
46,
Give me his brother.
what would you say? Send you his brother?
Yeah, I won't have time.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
that's why we're here. And so you said, so where I see the future of this industry going, like what I've seen change from like 2006, because I did start this agency at 23 in 1995, but like 2006, I started seeing more, like hearing more about care.com and Sitter City, some other places I don't want to promote came out. And like the internet it makes things easier, but it also makes things more complicated. Like when we were not nationwide, we would
Yeah.
have 200 clients within Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Rhode Island. And like we would be interviewing all day in the office, and people would have to drive an hour and a half to get to us if needed. And now it's like you can get on a call like we're doing and make sure we have the proper identification and we know who we're talking to and we have all the information we need, but we don't have to leave. We don't have to make people drive to us. So the more like the problem is just going through like the candidate pool because they people apply online as opposed to like calling on the phone and just booking an interview.
It's so
So there's
true.
like we don't have to go and run around and meet people or have people running to us. And so we do have the ability to place anywhere in the country. We do have people located in the South doing interviews and that work full time for the agency. We do have people, like I said, in Texas too, the Carolinas. We have people in the tri-state area that are working. So we spread ourselves out as well. But like our database has maps in it, and it's really what the fun part is we get to know where everything is in every area. So
Yeah.
like this woman that worked for me for 15 years lives in South New Jersey and she's from Philadelphia.
Okay.
She probably knows Massachusetts better than I do because she was always on the map picking out the candidates, figuring out where they could go from that area and never having been here.
Wow. Well, you've been doing this a long time. You've connected a lot of people, and people also may want to know, well, how does it work if things don't work out? You also have that team of people ready to help. That's the benefit and beauty of working with someone like yourself because they can always come to you, whether it's right, the clients, or it's the family how does that part work? And you will always, guarantee their success, their happiness in a sense.
Well, yeah, but they have to take part in it too. So if they want a replacement, they have to call the replacement candidates that we send to them because we're not just sending them any candidate to make a replacement. We're still being specific and getting, but we're not going to drop the ball. And so like if the right candidate hasn't come through, like because they've looked at resumes for 3 seconds or whatever the reason may be, like they have to understand we have a team that is not
Yeah,
just one person working on it. The thing is, a lot of people think that this is easy and they'll say, I can place a nanny. Like, wow, that agency made that much money just to place me. So I can get into this and do it. And, this is, I think, a harder business to get off the ground because you have to be a recruiter and have that mentality, which like you have to be tenacious, you have to have a natural curiosity, you have to not be afraid to ask the questions, you have
yep,
to be able to relationships, you have to not love being on the phone, move fast, not forget anything. And when you add into it people's personal lives, their preferences,
absolutely.
their home, their children, their parents, because we can help you with your elderly parents or your special needs family members of with for whatever the issue is, like just adding that. So I think people jump the gun and think, oh, I can do this and I don't have to charge that. I can charge this. I don't know. I don't know how long they'll stay in business unless they really get educated.
Yeah, got it. And what else do you want people to know about you or the agency for today? We do have just 3 minutes left on the clock.
I mean, I would say right now, if you're thinking you're going to be starting that new job or you're thinking that your mother is going to help you full time, really talk to them. Talk to these people. Find out if they're really going to be able to make that commitment. Don't hire someone part time without knowing that something else in their life, like a class schedule or their own family or another job falling through, is not going to affect them staying with you and then literally call the agency. We're happy to even give you advice, but
Yeah,
it's 888-8. So our direct line is 888-849-6090. It's always answered. You can book an appointment with the with us to call you back from the answering service if we're all on the phones, but they will answer 24/7. I would just say
yeah.
get started now. Don't wait until you're behind the eight ball. You're not obligated to hire someone. Just I would say get started now because the holidays are going to be tumultuous
Oh
and
my
you don't want
gosh.
to be after the new year, everyone's going to be looking.
Got it. Well, thank you so much. Always a pleasure having you here. And your team has been fantastic. I know there's sometimes that you're not available to come or you want them to speak. I think you were under the weather recently too. So it's just, grateful that you have a great staff and a great team of people who believe in you, like I mentioned last time. Yeah, just saying a lot of great things about you, how you've really led the way.
That's nice.
And
I'm going to have to listen.
yes, praising you. So that's a good thing. And if someone does want to reach out to you, is there an initial charge for the consultation, or can they do just call
Oh,
for a free consultation?
you get us on the phone. We're going to give you the best advice and we're going to tell you about our service. There's not going to be any pressure. The website is www.nannypoppins.com or nannypoppinsagency.com. And again, our number direct is 888-849-6090. Even if you need a chef, give us a call. Whatever it is, we're going to help you out and we'll get your problem solved and off and running
Perfect.
to a happy life.
Thank you. I love it. Happy life, happy wife, happy life, happy, yeah, happy. Doesn't have to be a wife to be
All
happy.
happy. Well,
Thank you so
like,
much. And you have a fantastic day. Have a great Thanksgiving if we don't speak as well, okay?
I know you too. Enjoy your holiday.
I will. Thank you so
Okay.
much. Bye bye,
All right.
Jennifer.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.